I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind if you record the meeting, but everybody asks, like, do you have a recording? And we can answer, yes, we do. So I'll give you the link to it afterwards. And then if you want to see what we did, you can have a look at that. Okay. So, okay, let's just put it like that. Okay. Okay. And the roll call. Okay, well, we can see all the people here. We won't worry with a formal roll call. And bring in guests. Okay, so none of you actually brought guests as far as I can see tonight. But if you bring a guest and they sign up, you're going to get 20% of their subscription. And typically the subscription is 2,500 Rand for 12 months. And there's a meeting every week. So you get like super value out of it. Okay. We're going to skip the word of the day. And the meeting roles, okay, we haven't got everybody worked out yet, but we have a crutchsmith, and that Srikamp is not online yet, and the clocksmith, Carol, okay, she might join us just now, okay. The leadership roles, okay, there's 11 leadership roles in a chapter like this. The only role that is filled at this point in time is the Master of Ceremonies, which is myself, okay. Then let's look at agenda changes. Okay, so um, I think, let me just have a look here. I think, yeah, Frans Nokia is with us. Yeah, big welcome to Frans Nokia. So we've got two of our speakers. We're waiting for Carol Charmaine. She's going to do the first speech as an associate. And Anton de Vinard is going to be talking about, the title of his speech is about speaking. So that is going to be awesome. And then Frans Nokia is doing a business speech. I'm so excited. I can hardly wait for that. And we're going to ask Frans to do the evaluation on Carol Charmaine. And if Prithvi Raj joins to evaluate Anton, and then Anton to evaluate Frans. But if Prithvi doesn't come, then maybe Anton, if you wouldn't mind evaluating Frans Nokia as well. And I'll evaluate one of you, and then we sort of balanced, okay. And besides that, the other thing I'd like to change is in the education segment. I'd like to speak about joining, the advantages, just 4 minutes. I put the two little segments together, that gives me 8 minutes. And yeah, so what we need now is a toast. Anybody would like to do an impromptu toast, 2 to 3 minutes? And Anton, would you like to give it a go? I know you can do it. Impromptu toast of own choice. And just show us how to do a toast.
Yeah, Frans, you forced me into stuff here. Okay, so let me have a quick look at
My apologies.
an impromptu toast. Okay, on toast. So traditionally, a toast would be amongst people celebrating something, and you would often hear the word cheers and salute when they drink a drink on a toast. But a toast can be basically to anything and anyone. And often what we do is we toast to our country. We've got a beautiful country called South Africa. It is most probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And we do have lions and elephant and tiger, leopard, no tiger, sorry, leopard and all kinds of wild animals as our pets, as the Americans believe. And I live in Krugersdorp, and within 10 kilometers of my house, I can take you and go and show you some lions and rhinos and elephant even, which you can go and have a walk with. That's a bit further away. It's about 40 kilometers of the elephant. But the rhinos are about 10 k's from my house. And I would like to toast to the success of our country, not what's currently necessarily happening, but to the success which we deserve in our country, because we have a beautiful country. We've got nowhere else to go because this is home and we love home. So if I can ask, if you do have a drink in your hand that you toast with me to our beautiful country, South Africa.
Thank you, Anton. That was beautifully done. Yeah, sorry for catching you offhand there. But I suppose that's what a speaker needs to be able to do. You need to be able to do anything just about. You need to be able to give a keynote speech, and at the last minute, they rush up to you and say, you know what? It's not 20 minutes anymore because our other speakers cancelled. Could you speak for 60 minutes? And if you are good, you're going to be able to do that, without even pausing. So we'd all like to be in that position one of these days. Okay. And a jester. Okay. Who would like to tell a joke from 30 seconds to 90 seconds? Just off the cuff, an off the cuff joke.
So what do you call a person that's happy on a Monday? Retired.
I agree,
That's a good
Frans.
one, yeah.
I agree.
Right. No, that is awesome, yeah. Okay, so the next item on our agenda are the elevator speeches. So I think we can try and do these elevator speeches for about 30 seconds. And the idea here is you say, hello, my name is Frans, for example, and I'm running this business called Network Mine, and there's a lot of advantages to joining it, for example, yeah. Okay, so should we have a go? Um, who would like to start? Who would like to kick it off?
All right. Well, I'm famous for my elevator speeches, Frans. Is that I usually, when there's a whole crowd in the elevator, I like to introduce myself to them all and welcome them to the meeting, of course, and then tell them that I'm an intimacy coach. And when they ask, what is an intimacy coach? I then expand a bit on that. And the reaction I get is either everyone gets out on the next floor or nobody gets out and they all stay with me right to the top.
Thank you, Anton. No, that is awesome. Frans, would you like to have a go?
Yes, my name is Frans Nortje. You know, almost like James Bond. But
Yes.
I don't take it shaken nor stirred. For me, double Jack Daniels on the rocks, please. Thank you very much. So my business is Grow Masterminds, and I'll make your commercial value grow. I am a facilitator and a lecturer, and I lecture on international trades, imports and exports, and I'm also a storyteller. So yeah, I'll make your commercial value grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Frans. No, that was awesome. Yeah. Andre, would you like to give it a go?
Yeah, hi Frans. Uh, as you all know, my name is Andre Brains. Maybe all people know my name and surname Brains. Brains, especially, I got a lot of brains. Not use everything, but I have a lot of it. But someday, maybe when I'm older, I'm not that young anymore, but when I'm older, I probably be able to use all of my brains. Don't know for what, maybe for a retire home, maybe one day. So let's look forward to those days that are coming in the future. But currently, I'm an estate agent, working as a franchisee in Moleta Park for Awesome Property Group. And been in the business 43 years, trying to sell houses till today. And I love my job. I love to meet people every day, and it's my passion. And yeah, that is the short and the long of it. And looking forward to what this evening have in mind for in store for us.
Thank you, Andre. That was a great elevator speech. Yeah. Adrian, do you want to give it a go?
Yes, certainly. Sorry, I was trying to find my mouse. Hi, I'm glad to join the group. I'm Adrian van Zyl. I'm from Keller Williams, also an estate agent. I worked for 38 years as in IT, project management mostly. Traveled South Africa for 2 years on my bike, to doing things, looking at the country. And I was introduced into Keller Williams, and I started doing that, and I love it. It's a newfound passion for me. I just absolutely love meeting new people, and I'm glad I'm joining this forum because I also want to learn from you and learn from other people in this sphere. And just to tell you, Andra, I work in the Lourdes Park area. Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Adrian. And Beryl, would you like to do an elevator speech?
Sure, Franz. Hi, everyone. My name
Hi,
is
Beryl.
Beryl. I work for a company called Utility as the head of product and head of customer experience. Definitely a lot to learn from this forum as well. There's a lot of wisdom and experience for me to pick up on. Adrian, I think from your elevator speech, just hearing your sort of years of experience and with working and within the industries, I do want to say that the amount of experience that you have is definitely older or a lot older than my age. So very excited to learn from all you guys on this forum, and definitely open to soaking up all the knowledge and wisdom that you have to offer.
Thank you, Beryl. No, that was awesome. Yeah, well done. And let me give my elevator speech. Hello, my name is Frans. And okay, so I started off as a professional musician. I did that for about 12 years. And I've been a IT professional for the rest of the time. And now what I'm working on is this network mine. Basically what it is, it's business networking and public speaking because they really go together. And it's to help people to develop their businesses, to get their spread, to get more people interested in their business. So it's really all about uplifting small to medium businesses and having a lot of fun. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. And back to you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. And that's me again. Yeah. Unless one of you want to take over. Okay. So now we're going to have an education segment. Okay. So what I wanted to do with the education segment is, we're going to have a, why you must join later on. So I thought, let me just tell you why you should join right now. And yeah, okay. So let me just share my screen quickly. Okay. So yeah, so why should you join? You should be able to see my screen now. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you should join, and why you should join right now. Okay. Okay, so the first reason is learn and practice business networking, leadership, and public speaking all in one place. Okay, 2, as a member of Network Mine, you can get an associate, a licentiate, and a fellowship credentials in business networking, as well as leadership and public speaking. Plus, you can also do a grand fellowship and get that certificate if you want to. The third reason, use your business networking experience, leading and public speaking skills to get a paid job in Network Mine region. Yeah, because we're not a charity, we're actually a business. So you'll be able to get a paid job using your leadership and speaking skills. And we'll teach you how to get there. So we're actually prepping you for a paid job. So that's, I think it's something, yeah. And the fourth reason, use your business networking skills, leadership and public speaking skills to get a promotion with your current employer because you're performing so much better, or turn your business into a more successful business. 5, refer a friend and get 20% of their subscription fee as a reward. That's a nice bit of pocket money. 6, run a skilled speaker program and get 50 to 80% of the revenue for yourself or for yourselves. Okay. Now, a skilled speaker program could be anything between about 20 to 60,000 Rand that the company will pay for that program. So if you get 50 to 80% of that, and you're going to have to work 1 to 2 hours a week for 8 weeks, I think it's quite lucrative, yeah. And 7, if you bundle chapter membership with the deal, when you sell the skilled speaker program, you can get 50% of the chapter membership fees paid to you as well. So chapter membership fees are 2,500 Rand typically. So you can get times 12 people is 30,000 Rand. So you can get a nice little kickback of 15,000 Rand for not doing much. If you can sell, you can add that in, okay? 8, okay, you can join now, and I've said yeah for only 2,500 Rand, but tonight, because I think tonight is so special, you can join for 1,800 Rand for 12 months, and you can pay it in one go. You can spread it over 3 months, that's 600 Rand for 3 months, or you can pay it over 3 months, 6 months at 300 Rand a month. So very affordable. And 9, so 1 week we do business networking, the next week we do public speaking. So we're busy with public speaking right now. And leadership is a part of both of those meetings, and it's all a part of Network Mind. And the 10th reason is you can purchase a Network Mind franchise, and you can run multiple chapters in your franchise area. So, and this is exciting. Well, I think it is anyway. We're giving away 3 franchises worth 500,000 Rand each to top performers. So join now and make sure that you are in the running for one of those 3 franchises. Okay, and any questions? Okay. So, okay, I see we don't have any questions right now, but I'm sure in the future you might have some things you'd like to ask. And then you might say to me, yeah, but how do we actually join Network Mind? And it's quite easy. I'm going to paste this in the chat now. There's an online form, and yeah, I've just popped it in the chat there. You just follow that online form and you sign up, and you can just send proof of payment to me, and you just tell me how you've paid. Your reference is your name. Are you doing 300 Rand for 6 months, 600 Rand for 3 months, or just paying in one go? It's all up to you. Anyway, that was my little talk on the advantages of joining Network Mind. And now we're going to call upon Carol Charmaine, who's jester number 2, to share a joke with us and tickle our grey matter for a little while there. But since she's not here, who would like to do an off-the-cuff joke? 30 to 90 seconds. Okay, I see nobody's coming forward there. So I'll just give you a little limerick to think about. And yeah, it's once, I went past the University of Pretoria, and I just heard the guys talking there. And the one guy was saying to his friend, he said, Tommy, there once was a physicist named Philip who developed a spaceship. He left one day in a relative sort of way, and he returned the previous day. Well, anyways, so now we get to the really exciting part, the prepared speeches. And Carol Charmaine has got the first speech. Okay, she's not here tonight. Let me just check no one's trying to join. Okay, let me just check on WhatsApp. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So just let me just see. I think someone's struggling to join. Let me just give them the link. Okay. 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 So we're going to miss the first speech because Carol's not here. I'm going to go on with the second speech. Anton de Vinaar is going to speak, and the title of his speech is about speaking. And I'm going to call upon Frans Norkeo to evaluate the speech. Is that okay with you, Frans? Okay. And so this is a standard 5 to 7 minute speech, and it's just a generic type of speech. So you can just evaluate it as a generic type of speech, and we'll call upon you later on to give the feedback. And so, ladies and gentlemen, or to be more correct, should I say lady and gentlemen? I always try to be very correct. Help me by giving a big hand to Anton with his speech entitled About Speaking. Is that correct, Anton? It's about speaking?
Yeah, talking about speaking.
Okay, talking about speaking. And over to you, Anton.
Thank you, Frans, for the introduction. And thanks, Frans, for being willing to do an evaluation of the speech. Now, we all can talk, and most of us learn to talk when we are very young. But do we really learn how to speak? Because our parents are just so proud to say, you know what, my son, my daughter, my grandson, granddaughter could talk when they were 9 months old. And by 2 years old, they could do a whole conversation. And at 3, they could solve the matters of the universe. As a matter of fact, my grandchildren are so great that my granddaughter at 3 could most probably do better with the Middle Eastern crisis than Donald Trump is doing at the moment. But speaking is not necessarily talking. Now, I'm an introvert, shy. I would sit in the corner the whole day, just look at people around me and not say a word. But that's not who we as humans are. We as humans have got this in our nature that we have to talk to people, get to know people. People want to get to know us. And if they don't, then things just don't work out the way it should. I know people that are called misanthropes. They hate other people. They don't talk to other people. They don't want to listen to other people. They just stay away from everybody. They avoid everybody and anybody. But we as normal humans want to interact. Now, like I said earlier, you can talk, but can you speak? Because you get great orators, like Adolf Hitler, for instance. I think that was one of the best speakers the world had at the time. He was much better. He was a much better speaker than Winston Churchill was, for instance. He could convince 1 million people to die for him and for no other reason. He could convince his people to kill at the touch of a button. So he'd just go out there and kill all these people. And they would listen to him because he could speak. And he could speak the right words, which they needed at that moment in time. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that speaks the way he spoke are great speakers. But to become a great speaker, you have to understand what it is that people want from you. And if you give them the right things, they listen and they do the right things on your behalf or for you. Now, talking, I know a lot of guys that can talk for hours and hours and hours and say absolutely nothing. I once met a gentleman, a doctor, and an economic doctor for that matter, Dr. Chris Stolz, and I'm sure all of you have heard of him. He used to be the governor of the South African Reserve Bank. And Dr. Stolz was a great speaker. He could talk for an hour without saying anything, and people would hang on his lips, hang on every single word that he spoke, because he would go, if everything was equal, on the long term, we'll have a short-term uprising in the interest rates, while on the short term, we'll have a drop in the repo rate. And people would go, wow. And in fact, he didn't say anything, because it's just meaningless, just words. And people that don't understand economics would think, wow, that is pretty awesome. You know, this guy knows what he's talking about. Great speaker without saying anything. We have many of those great speakers at the current moment in our fantastic government. They speak a lot or talk a lot and say absolutely nothing. Empty words. Now, to become a good speaker, one has to practice often. One has to go out and talk to lots of people, understand what they do, understand where they come from, and then convert their language into your speeches. If people don't understand what you're saying, don't want to understand what you're saying, your speeches will all land on deaf ears forever and ever and a day. Like I said earlier, I am a total introvert. I can literally not talk to anyone for weeks on end. But when I do get the urge, then I might even, like in COVID times, talk to this lovely young lady that lives in my house. COVID forced me to talk to her a lot more than I used to, because I was at work the whole day. But being forced to sit with her for days on end opened my eyes. She was actually a lovely person, and I fell in love all over again. And years later now, after being retired now for a couple of years, France, best place to be, retirement, best place after 60. One cannot go wrong. But now I still yearn to talk to people. So thankfully, I've got this great distraction, golf. And on the golf course, I meet a lot of interesting people. I talk to a lot of interesting people. I often give them speeches. And I do give them speeches about my business, although I'm not a real practicing coach anymore, but I still love to tell people stories about my coaching business, because I did some fantastic things while I was very active in the business. Again, talking about speaking. You know, I talk to my grandchildren a lot, and they've got a lot to say and a lot of questions, and you have to answer them in a correct way, because you can't teach your kids the wrong things, because later on in life, it may just come back to you. If you taught them the wrong things, they might do the wrong things. So you want to teach them the right thing. So when you teach them how to speak, because they ought to do speeches at school, you try and teach them the right ways to do things. Give them an opening, a body of the speech, a lovely fulfilling body, and a conclusion which comes back to the opening. It's not always that easy though, because sometimes the topics that you have to talk to are not easy. If you don't know much about a subject, it becomes a difficult thing to deliver something which is believable to everyone. Now, as you can see on my background, for instance, I am currently up in the Northern Hemisphere, looking over the ice and snow outside, and I have got the Aurora Borealis behind me. And it is really great, because this is where I want to be at the moment. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to be far away from people, just sitting, looking at the beautiful night sky, thinking of Artemis 2, currently circling the moon, coming back to Earth soon, because people can send people up there. Do I want to go up there? No, not necessarily. I want to be feet on the ground, safer, yeah, as it is always. And I want to talk to people once in a while, like tonight. When Frans invited me, I thought, you know, I've been so busy this past month. For the whole month of March, I was home for 2 days. So let me meet some other people, some other interesting people for a change, and talk to them about speaking. Because speaking is something that we love to do. Sometimes we are good at it. Sometimes we are not all that good at it. We try and avoid the crutch words. We try and avoid the wrong things that we say sometimes. We try and speak in the right tenses, although English might not be our first language. Again, you know what? We all learn how to talk when we are very young. But do we learn how to speak? That is an art coming on later in life, when we are challenged beyond our normal reaches. Then we become speakers. And I hope that everyone here actually joins this franchise of France, this venture of France, to become better speakers and to become better leaders, as we would all like to be. And I hope you guys sell houses like hotcakes. I hope the market does pick up, because on the West Rand where I am, the market's a bit slow at the moment. Friends of mine have been battling to sell their houses. But yeah, let's hope the market picks up. Let's hope interest rates, well, at the moment, they should fall a bit because I've got a slight debt to pay off. But then they can rise again once I've got my investments going. Thank you very much for the opportunity, guys. France.
I suppose you heard nothing, eh? I was muted. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Anton. That was a beautiful speech. I think you went about a minute over time, which we can forgive you because we are ahead of time. So, Anton, if you want to buy a house, you can speak to Andre or Adrian. If you want to put solar on your house, speak to Beryl. So she'll give you an awesome deal there. And if you want to speak about big Harley Davidson motorbikes, the best guy to speak to is Frans Nortje, and all of these people are right here in this meeting tonight. So that is awesome. And now it's time to introduce Frans Nortje. He's actually a professional speaker, and he's going to give us a more professional speech. It's a little bit different to what Anton did, which was a type of a generic speech. This is a professional speech. It's marked, and let me just check here. I think it's marked 10 to 12 minutes. But we are a little bit ahead of time. And so if you want to go push it all the way up to 15 minutes, we can accommodate that. So it's up to you. And without further ado, help me to welcome to the stage, to the center stage, none other than Frans Nortje with his business speech entitled Gate 16.
Thank you, Frans. It was supposed to be, let me do this. It was supposed to be a 7-minute speech. But all right, so there we are. It's supposed to be a 7-minute speech, but let's see if we can go longer. Title is Gate 16. It was 3 o'clock on a very hot Friday afternoon. I was tired, I was bothered, and it was hot. Did I say that already? It was hot. I was sitting at Cape Town International Airport, waiting for my flight back home, spending the week in Cape Town facilitating. At the time, it was the 2nd of November 2012. At the time, Cape Town International Airport was under construction. So you had to be at the airport for domestic flights 2 hours before the flight depart. So you can imagine I was sitting there for quite a while thinking, if we leave 4 o'clock, then I'll be at home by about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30, missing the afternoon traffic and even the odd thunderstorm. That used to be a regular thing on a Friday afternoon in the summer. As I said, Cape Town International Airport was under construction. So it was all these steel structures. It was temporary structures with plastic canvas covering it. Sitting there, looking at the aircraft taking off, landing, I could smell the plastic, the tar, and the jet fuel. You know, it filled my nostrils. And to the left, I noted our aircraft, the McDonnell Douglas MD-83, man. I remember the tail number ZS TRL. It was sitting there to my left. But what I found interesting is it was silent. Nothing happened. There was no filling of the aircraft, no refilling vehicles, no cleaning crew, absolutely nothing. The aircraft, the McDonnell Douglas, sat. It stayed there. No movement. And then you know people, at the end of the week, they're tired. So you know that first in line people, the ones that always need to be first, they started to queue. Sitting there, I looked at them, and I realized, listen, if I don't get into this queue, I'm going to be right at the back of the queue. It wasn't long, and just about all 150 people stood in that queue, waiting for gate 16 to open. Nothing happened. And then the passengers started softly, murmuring, "What's going on? What's going on? Why is there no ground crew? Why are we not boarding the aircraft?" 4:10. Passengers got really, really loud and ugly, to be quite honest. The next moment, the door opened, and this young woman, dressed in a red and khaki suit, came off the tarmac through the door. I looked at her. Her uniform complemented her figure, I must say. But her eyes told a different story. They were tired. Then she took a deep breath. She said, "Ladies and gentlemen, one time has been grounded. We will never fly again." She said, "Please make alternative arrangements. You need to get home." Silence. And then all hell broke loose. "What do you mean? What do you mean? How are we going to get home?" The people started to shout and swear, and they were going on at this poor young professional lady. People were saying, "We want a refund. What are we going to do?" And then her voice cracked. "Do you think I wanted this?" she said. Now she was crying. The crew, the pilots, the captain, the senior personnel are all sitting in the aircraft. They're too scared to come out. I was the only person who thought it was the right thing to do. I'm only the messenger because I believe it is right of me to come and tell you what's going on. I don't even have a job anymore. Then she cried and cried. She said, "I don't even have a wallet on me. I've got no means of getting home." You know, at that moment, something shifted inside me. I thought, wow, what a brave, brave woman. 150 crazy passengers. There she stood, woman alone, facing the angry, angry crowd. You know, 832 people lost their jobs that day. The CEO, Benny Kuneni, and the executive went into hiding, nowhere to be found. But this ordinary woman stood and faced the storm, head on, people, all by herself, no ground crew, no airport personnel, nothing but angry, angry passengers. You know, she didn't hide behind senior staff. She showed the courage, the integrity, the humanity that we expect from people in public figures. I've come to realize that you will not be able to train a person this special leadership trait, the special personality trait. This is from within. And I really thought, you know, if I had the opportunity, I would employ her, because this is the people that really makes the world go around. That day, I saw a leader in a young woman that stood up against all odds, while all the senior personnel went into hiding. You know, and sitting there, I realized this was one of my biggest business lessons that we tend to forget. And this is that leadership, people, is not about the position. It is about the character of that person under pressure. And you know what else? Success is not built on avoiding failure, but it is built on how quickly we stand up when or after our plans collapsed. One day, your flight will be grounded. Your project will fail. Your plan will fall apart. And how we respond to this will really define who we are. Will you stand tall like the air hostess? Or will you go into hiding like the CEO did when they needed him most? Friends, each one of us will face a gate 16 moment. A moment when things that we've planned, things that we were thinking might go our way, does not go our way. When it stops going our way. And you know, when that moment comes, will you be the messenger who stood firm in truth and in courage? Or the leader who vanishes when others need you most? The choice, my friend, as always, is yours. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Frans. Yeah, I was just making sure I was unmuted before I started with my praises of that speech. Truly a professional speech, brilliantly done. And I'm sure we all enjoyed that thoroughly. I certainly did in any case. And yeah, I see we are a little bit ahead. So right now is time for the jester. But I think because we have time, why don't we do a round robin jester, a round table jester? We start with one person and we all just tell you know what? Let's tell a funny story. One of us starts a story and he talks for a few seconds, he stops, and the next person carries on, and he stops, and the next person carries on, and let's see where the story goes. Okay. Who would like to start the story?
Okay, let me start then.
Okay.
I have a famous telling where I believe from the bottom of my heart, okay, that the earth is flat. I have never seen a curve on earth. I have seen many curves on bodies on earth, but the earth itself is flat. And I can prove that to you. Because if you look into the distance, and I would like somebody else to continue.
If you look into the distance, I know, Anton, you from the Flat Earth Society. But if you look in the distance, you'll find there's an horizon. And where the horizon and the ocean meet each other, you'll find there's a little gentleman sitting with a Jack Daniels, and he's sipping on it. Slowly looking, trying to find the end of that flatness of that earth. But I bet you he was like was it Moby Jack or Moby Dick, drinking his rum, but this guy was only on Jack Daniels. So he come to realize that he couldn't fall off the edge of the earth. So he's going around and around, and then next person.
And it starts all over. Around and around. They say the wheel is only flat at the bottom. The rest of the wheel is still air in it. So you don't need to pump the whole wheel, only pump the bottom part. Because when you got the whole wheel back again, and you will see that the world is actually not flat. It's only the bottom part that's flat. The rest is round.
Okay, well, let me carry on with that story. Talking about a wheel, and a very wise man once said to me, France, the moon is not round the way we think. Because it's like, if you take an eggshell and you cut it off very carefully, you take the egg out of it, you see it's like a flat piece of paper that's been bent. And as you look at that piece of paper, you can see that it's. Let me lower my hand there. Yeah, sorry. You see that piece of paper looks round, but and then we get the old moon. It sort of goes the one way, and you just see that sort of slither like that. You see that's where the moon is sideways. That's why you just seen the little piece on the side.
Yeah.
And then it disappears altogether. Obviously it's exactly on the side. It disappears. You can't even see it. And then you see it starting to, come from the other side. You just see that sort of semicircle, and it gets bigger and bigger until it becomes a moon again. So that's the moon turning around, and it just proves that the moon is flat, as is the earth, so rightly so flat.
Flat.
as I said, people come from all corners of the earth. Can't be round then.
Well, there's no
Francois,
corners.
I am not from the Flat Earth Society, but I love to entertain my son and his friends. And my son really doesn't enjoy me talking about the flat Earth. And I enjoy the guy sitting, sipping his Jack Daniels at the horizon there. But one day when we do get to see the Earth from very high up, where Artemis 2 is at the moment, it's actually a strange phenomenon as that although the Apollo missions went behind on the dark side of the moon, they could not ever take any pictures. But these guys have now taken pictures from the dark side of the moon. The strangest phenomena, though, is that although the conspiracy theorists have always said that the moon landings were faked, and I think we can all remember all the pictures that did come back from the moon, we never saw any stars in any of those pictures. Although the current guys that are up there have taken pictures not from the moon surface, but from behind the moon, and you can actually see all the stars, according to what they are currently taking up there. Very interesting phenomenon, but yes, the Earth is flat, I'll tell you. I've gone around this Earth many times, it's flat.
Sure. Right. Okay. I see Adrian is just going to left a note there. Be right back. Okay. Would anyone like to carry the story on? Maybe I can extend the story a little bit. I always say you should try to see the bigger picture. Now, I've noticed that everybody loves Donald Trump. Because when you love somebody, you speak about him all the time. And wherever you go, people are speaking about Donald Trump. So I've decided, obviously, they love Donald Trump. And, what I would like to ask is, what does Donald Trump say? Does he say the world is flat or round?
That's a very, very good question, Frans. But to get back to the moon, did you know they discovered life on the moon? Yeah, ticks. They discovered ticks. You know what kind of ticks? Lunatics. Lunatics. But I don't know if Donald Trump is from the moon. But yeah, it would be quite interesting to know what he thinks about it. He's an amazing character, to be quite honest. I think for me personally, when he started the first term being president of the USA, I thought he was okay. But these days, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the man. He's got his own way of doing things, isn't it?
No.
I actually liked Donald on his first term
Myself.
because at that stage, I was working for a large corporate company, and my boss, which I reported to, was an Indian,
Oh.
Muslim, as a matter of fact. And he was supposed to go to a conference in Las Vegas. And Donald Trump had just been voted in as president, and Donald said he doesn't want any Muslims in his country. So they drew my name out of the hat, and I went to Las Vegas for 2 weeks.
Wow, hey, what a pleasure.
Paid vacation. I had a lovely time. I went to all the lectures and I downloaded all the stuff and I sent it all back to my boss in South Africa. And I said, you know what? It was such a tough week there, but I booked some extra days in the hotel. Company paid for it. It was best time in the States. Not that I ever want to go back there, but it was a great time held by me.
Yeah, nice. How lucky can one man be, eh? Sure.
I agree with you. That was the Best of luck. And I did show the Americans, I had pictures of lions on my phone. I showed them my pets. I said, here's my lions. And they believed me.
Anton, didn't you work at the Reserve Bank at some stage?
Yes, but I didn't want to throw names around.
Apologies. But you were
Yeah.
also at the Reserve Bank Toastmasters, isn't it?
I was, yeah, for my sins, I was there
Yeah.
for 27 years in Toastmasters and 37 years in the company. Yeah.
And I know you've also had another business.
I always had my other business, my intimacy business. Yes.
Oh, I remember you. Yes, man.
Yeah.
You still have it though.
Frans, you know what? When COVID came, I just retired just before
Oh.
COVID happened. And
Yeah.
COVID just killed the business because it's unfortunately, it is an intimate in-person business. I couldn't run it remotely. And so
Yeah.
I just basically stopped and I'm happily retired.
Well, nice, man. Oh, lucky. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sure. Well, anyway, so we were going to do an impromptu segment, but I think that little jester segment actually ended up as an impromptu segment. So this is the time now where we call upon the trainee MC, okay, to handle the feedback session. And okay, so I see both Anton and Frans are going to be part of the trainee session, part of the feedback session. So maybe, unless Andre, you want to take over the feedback session, I'll just carry on with it.
Well, I think the feedback from my point of view is that sometimes you have to do a little bit of introspection on your daily basis, because I don't think you only get to gate fitting sometimes. I think you get to gate fitting on a daily basis. You are being faced with situations, and especially when you deal with people, and as mentioned in the story, a real life story, that people act on their emotions, and sometimes emotions fluctuate up and down, and the cool leads are always the people that act with integrity, and that is a person you're always looking forward to meet and to look up to, because they already established themselves as the leaders. And yeah, so it's actually, to me, in small portions of your day, working with people, you come to gate 13 more often than you realize, because people are judging you every time they meet with you, every time they engage with you, and sometimes you have to look at yourself. Am I still on the rail? Or am I maybe not that solid on the rail anymore? So introspection is a very serious part of your business for yourself. And I think from this perspective, I can say I evaluate this story 9 out of 10, 12 out of 10, if you want to give it a percentage. But it hits hard for every and any person that is serious about relationships and serious about contributions in life. That's my part.
Thank you very much, Andre. That was a beautiful feedback. Thank you very much. Okay, so we were going to have the feedback on the clocksmith, wordsmith, and the crutchsmith. Okay, but we didn't have those people here today. So I think we can just skip that. As far as the clocksmith was concerned, I think we kept things well within time. We're running a little bit early. Okay, so let's go to the speaker feedback. And the first speaker was Anton de Winnaar, and Frans Nortje gave an evaluation of that. So Frans, would you like to give the evaluation on Anton's speech?
Yes, thank you, Frans. Anton, you know, when you started your speech, I come to realize that you are indeed, you say you're an introvert, but I think most speakers are introverts, to be quite honest. But I could immediately pick up that you are a good speaker. And that's why I've asked you if you know if you used to be at Toastmasters, because I remember sitting listening to you. I said, I know this voice, and I know this guy speaking. So with regards to the manner of speaking, very, very comfortable, very relaxed. So and that of course is first of all making a good speaker. The examples that you've used, I've liked. In other words, the structure. So you've mentioned that you need to have an opening, a body, and a conclusion. And you've started your opening, and immediately you drew our attention by talking about your grandchildren, and then saying, of course, that you know when you speak to your grandchildren, or you tell them not to talk only but to speak, and you've introduced them to the method of tell the people what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you've told them. That type of a scenario. So very relaxed and involving for the following reasons. So I said, you've brought in your family, you've talked about your family. You've even talked about your missus, you know, that during COVID you've started to laver again right from the word go, which of course I think for all of us is very important. So by doing that, I think you know your audience. You know the people that you've had on the audience tonight, how to reach them. That's another sign of a good speaker. Then you've elaborated. So you've started with your family, your grandchildren. Then you've elaborated and you've started to talk about Adolf Hitler being this great speaker, keeping the audience in the palm of his hand type of a thing, which is true. But then you brought it home again. So you had the variety within your speech. Then you have mentioned the South African politicians, which, yeah, they really do talk a lot. But they definitely do not speak. Oh, they can go on and on and on for hours. And I think you've also mentioned, I think it was some of your executive board members or someone that could also speak, but say nothing really. So I think this is a difficult platform. If you don't really practice speaking on a Zoom or a Teams, it becomes rather difficult to capture your audience. But you've managed to do it. You know, you did capture your audience, and I think that is great. What else did I have here? You've mentioned the crutch words. I think you've mentioned the important stuff for your audience tonight. Stuff that we need to work on, stuff that we can start to work and start to build a proper speech. So I've liked all of that. I think if we're going to, I just want to move this, Frans, I just want to move your poll to one side because I'm trying to look at the camera. So if maybe something to improve on, maybe think about something to improve on. And that is, if you're going to attend the Zoom meetings on a more regular basis, then I would maybe suggest that you do something about the light, you know, the lighting of your background maybe, or maybe lighting in your face so that you can be more visible. You are visible now, but I think by, you know, just adding a light or two, one would be able to see the expressions on your face a little bit clearer. But all in all, I think a fantastic speech, well delivered, very calm, very relaxed, extremely relevant to your audience and extremely relevant to the specific topic. And definitely you have achieved in sharing your message about talking and about talking versus speaking. Thank you very much for your speech. I'm really looking forward to your next speech. Thanks, Anton. Thank you, Frans.
Thanks, Frans.
Thank you very much there, Frans. That was we can say that was a professional evaluation, and very much thank you for that. And now we're going to call upon Anton to give an evaluation on France's speech. Now, Andre already gave a very good evaluation on France's speech, so we're going to really ask Anton to add to that evaluation. And I'm just putting the spotlight on Anton.
Right. Oh, no, thanks, Frans, for that feedback. Yes, I know the lighting is not the best in my study. I was working, but I remember I am up in the Northern Hemisphere and the signal isn't all that great up here. No, Frans, thank you very much for your story. Gate 16, that really, I could just envisage your struggle there at the gate and everything you went through. Frans, you've got a great storytelling voice, and you did say earlier that you are a storyteller. And I can tell that your grandchildren must have a ball when you tell them about your stories and your experiences. You personalized Gate 16 immediately to yourself, and you brought it home to all of us. Well, definitely to me. I could see you in Cape Town International Airport. At the time, specifically when they were doing the renovations, the airport was tiny. It was basically a landing strip for a big city. And it wasn't the most comfortable space to be in. But I could just see you there sitting and waiting to board your flight back home. Gate 16, which never happened. How did you get home, by the way, if I may ask?
I'm still also working for a corporate, a very big corporate. I can't tell you the name, but I can give you the abbreviations if you want that. You want the abbreviations for my big corporate? CSIR. But anyway,
Okay. No.
So luckily, and it's a semi-government as well. So people don't normally work on a Friday. You're lucky if you get them at the office at 4 o'clock. But there was one lifesaver at the office. She also retired just now. The other day she retired. Eleanor is a real name, but I phoned her and I thought, let me just see if I can get hold of anyone. Because, I also didn't have money for a plane ticket on me, to be quite honest. Well, not enough. Those days it was expensive. So I thought, let me just quickly see if I can get hold of someone in the office. And then Eleanor answered, and I explained to her, I said, Eleanor, I'm stuck. Listen, can you help me? And she was, of course, in the procurement department. We're busy with travel. She said, let me help you quickly. So luckily, she got me a ticket back home. So I was fortunate. But yeah, sometimes you get these angels in your life, real lifesavers type of a thing. And there she was, and she could get a ticket for me.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're glad you got home safe. But, talking about your flight being booked in the afternoon, having to fly up, and I know that the traffic from OR Tambo could be the worst of the worst, especially if there's a summer storm brewing. And in November, we normally have those governmental storms, which starts around 4 o'clock, 4:30, and it rains until about 7 o'clock. And that's the time which most of the government departments close down and then are on their way home. And OR Tambo could be a nightmare. As a matter of fact, I try not to fly from there anymore. Lanseria is my go-to. But you've got this way of vividly telling the story that could put me, I was actually smelling that fuel, the aircraft fuel, when you were waiting for your plane and nothing happens. Your plane didn't even start up. Everyone just sat. And then the passengers that got upset were starting to scream and shout. And it's usually, the first class passengers or the upper economic passengers that paid 2.5 cents more for their seats that has to come home first. They have to be in the queue first. They have to board the plane first. I try not to board the plane first because you just sit for longer. I could see the queue waiting at the gate with you sitting watching them and thinking to yourself that you have to get into that queue as well. Otherwise, you're not getting off the ground. one-time airlines was famously stopped, just grounded and never got up in the air again, which was a terrible thing at the time because that was a black empowerment airline and everybody thought that this was going to be their success to get up and carry on for a long time. But then you brought in this very important factor as well, the human factor, where everybody's angry, everyone's upset, and there has to be one calm mind amongst them that has to bring calm to all those people, that has to bring the reality back. And when you told us about the air hostess that came out and shed a tear because she's just lost not only her job, she's lost her livelihood, which most probably quite a few family members depended on at the time. You brought back that human factor that says, you know what? It doesn't matter what situation we may be in. There is always somebody worse off than we are. There's always somebody that's suffering more than we are. And we often judge and blame and try and get rid of the guilt, I suppose, to blame somebody else for something which they've got absolutely no control over. And it's very easy to shoot the messenger because they become the target. And we've been, well, I've certainly been in that situation where I've been a target where I just delivered a message on behalf of somebody else. And that's the worst situation to be in. So yes, one must always try and put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Gate 16 is one gate that we unfortunately get thrown into every once in a while. But yeah, everything in life is a choice. Make the right choices. We always think things are going to go right. But sometimes things do not go the way we plan. And then we have to make the right choice for our future, for other people's futures. Gate 16, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Frans, because I think that's a story that is not only a story in the sense of a fictional story. This is bringing the facts home and making it a real life story which everyone can feel with. Thanks for sharing that with us. Really, really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thanks for that really comprehensive feedback, Frans. And I think it added to what Andre said as well. Frans's speech was really a brilliant speech. And yeah, we're actually privileged to listen to a speech of this caliber and to listen to somebody giving feedback on the speech. And we can actually get a little idea into the structure. And I think we can really learn from Frans Nortje about the art of speaking. That was absolutely brilliant. Let's give him a hand to Anton and Frans and to Andre as well for that brilliant feedback. Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to the jester. Okay, would anybody like to offer a joke or some cynical comment or something to hopefully make us laugh or even cry? Jesters do that as well.
No, I've been told that I'm not allowed to tell jokes on these kind of public forums. They're all naughty.
Well, I think we're all old enough. You could probably get away with it.
Now I've got youngsters in the house.
No, okay, no, fully understand. Okay, so
I can
anybody
maybe
else
give you.
with? Please go for it. Yes.
Yeah, I had a funny rationale this week. It's not my joke, or if you can say it's a joke or not. I say life is about two things. Either you're healthy or you're not healthy. And if you're healthy, you've got nothing to worry about. But if you're not healthy, you've got two things to worry about. Either you're going to get worse
or you've got to get better. If it's going to get better, it's nothing to worry about. But it's going to get worse, you've got something to worry about. So if you die, and it gets worse, you've got two things to worry about. You're going to go either to heaven, or you're going to go to hell. You go to heaven, you've got nothing to worry about. You go to hell, you can claim either original or very crispy.
That's good. Sure. Wow. Phew. That was actually, that's really funny. Yeah.
I think my spot is booked with piri piri. So it's got to be very hot.
No, if you have crispy, you got to have piri piri.
I tell people I don't take sugar in my coffee because it has to be hot. Like I like my coffee like I like my woman. Must be very hot. Must be white. Must never be sweet. Of eintlik in Afrikaans moet nooit soet wees nie. Moet net stout wees.
Yeah, true.
It's good. Yeah. Anyway, I think we can move on now. Okay, we already spoken about joining, and in the comments on the side, if you want to join, I've got the detail, but you can ask me later as well. I'll give it to you, and I'll put it on the group and all that type of stuff. And then we're going to hand over to the area director. Who's going to speak to us on a point. And yeah, okay, so I'm the area director again. So yes, the area director. Okay, well, thanks for this really great meeting tonight. This is officially our second meeting, and I think we perhaps had some of the greatest speeches that you'll see in a speaking club, and it happened right tonight. And many thanks to Anton and to France. That was absolutely awesome. I'm really impressed with that. And then the thanks. Okay, well, I think I've already done the thanks. So let me hand back control to the master of ceremonies, which is again myself. You can see, obviously, we need some more role players. So if you want to play a role, let's join and let's get you involved in. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes as well. That all teaches you leadership and all sorts of amazing skills. And okay, so the upcoming events. Okay, so the 15th of April, it's also Wednesday at 7:30. We're having a business networking meeting. So the structure is exactly the same, except instead of focusing on public speaking, we're focusing on business networking. So it's actually both part of Network Mind, but it's there's two things: business networking, public speaking, and leadership, and they all go together. You can't have one without the other. You need to have all of them in. And then on the 22nd is public speaking, the 29th is business networking, the 6th of May is public speaking, and so on and so forth. And now, if you haven't answered the poll yet, I think, could you maybe just put your thing on the poll? Because many people have said to me that they would like to have an in-person meeting once a month, where we can just like meet people in person, have a nice meeting, something to eat, and then go home again. Now, some people want it in the evening, and some people want it on Saturday morning. So if you were to choose, when would you like to meet people in person? Would that be Wednesday evening or Saturday morning? So if you can maybe just put that on the poll, and then we close the poll. Okay. Well, okay. Okay, I'll just give you a few more minutes just a few more seconds, I think. Yeah, okay. And I see we are sort of a little bit ahead of time. So, okay, let me end the poll. If you have an opinion, you can always tell me afterwards as well. Okay. So, okay, we're just going to end the poll there. Okay. And before we officially adjourn the meeting, is there anything that anybody would like to say on a point? Like something positive, something negative, something you liked, something you didn't like? Now is your chance to, without limit, to say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, thank you, Frans. It was a very nice meeting. I know that, to put everything together, and I've had a look at your agenda. It's a lot of work, in fact, and I thank you for the effort that you put into it. And I really wish from the bottom of my heart that this will grow, and that it is a platform that people would really like to visit more often and become actively involved and participate, because that's how it will grow. So thank you for all the work that you've put into it. I can see you've done a lot already. So I've enjoyed it. It's just a pity that I won't always be able to attend the meeting, but when I'm free, I'll definitely attend. Thanks, Frans.
No, thank you, Frans, and I really appreciate your contribution to the meetings. When you can make it, and I don't know if I can ask you this, but if I could ask you that when you do attend, would it be possible to present a speech? Because I think everybody who attends this meeting is going to enjoy your speeches. Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Okay. And now next week we have the business networking. So in business networking, we also have a jester. So if you'd like to take the place of a jester, and you can, over the course of the week, think up some really nice, punchy jokes, that'll be great. And also, I've really played around with the program and the timing and that, and I found that we can actually put in 2 business speeches. So if you want to talk about your business, and you typically get 10 to 12 minutes, it's a good opportunity to come and showcase your business. You can use a PowerPoint presentation or any way you want to present it, and really, put your business on the map. And of course, we're going to share this on YouTube, and we'll pass the link around to everyone who's interested. And so it won't only be in the meeting that we get to hear about your business, but it could hopefully go a little bit further than that. So, any takers for a business presentation next week?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a tournament on next week, so that's the beginning of the next season for the professional golfers. So it's going to be difficult, but yeah, I will also attend when I can.
100%.
And I will, if I'll do a speech at the opportunities when they are available. But yeah, it's same as Frans. Unfortunately, I do have other commitments which I am involved with that I can't get away from. So, but yeah, I'll attend this as much as possible and help you. Sure.
Okay.
That'll be much appreciated. And Andre, would you like to give a business presentation next week?
Not Jerry. I have a lot of things on my book this coming week. Just
Okay.
give it a little bit more time, Frans, okay?
Okay, that's 100% because we meet every week. So when you're ready, you can just say,
Yes.
I'm ready, and we'll do it. Yeah.
I'll talk to you again. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this beautiful meeting. Hopper 7 to 9 o'clock, and I'm very glad to say it's 3 minutes to 9 now. So we managed to keep well within time, and that's part of being a good public speaker and a good leader and a business networker, is to be on time. That's one of the basic disciplines, and we are 110% within time. So well done to everybody. And without further ado, I hereby declare this meeting closed.
Thank you. Have a good one.
See you
It was
guys.
good
Bye.
seeing you again, Anton.
Yeah, good to see you, Frans.
Thanks.
Mooi van.
Thank you, Andre. Thank
Good to-
everyone.
Bye bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Keep
Bye-bye.
well.
Dankie,
Thanks.
Andre.
Frans.
Cheers.
Okay, bye, Andre.
Bye.
Frans. Cheers.
Bye.
Ja, Leslie.
Okay, Frans. Thanks.